woo-woo. We some Indiana moves. We some Indiana woo-woo. We some Indiana moves. I'm an Indiana woo.
We don't take 1, 2, 3. We make the f***ing rules in town. No more talk. Just win. Let's go.
Touchdown! I-N-D-Y! Anthony Richardson.
Welcome back to the channel. Even though it is the off season, we're still putting out content, Colts content, football content. Every Monday, 7 in the morning, we're going to be here on YouTube with all the good stuff. So today I decided to go through and give my way too early predictions about who's going to be the starters for the 2025 NFL season for the Colts. And at the end of the video, I'm going to kind of give a little bonus starting lineup. I'm going to give my all-time starting defense. So that'll be at the end of the video. So stay tuned if you want to see that. But let's just go ahead and recap who the starters were for last year. On the O-line, we had Bernie, Q, R. Kelly, Fries, Braden. Mo Alley Cox was a starting tight end. Pitt, Alec, and Downs were the receivers. AR and JT were in the backfield. And on defense, we had Grove, Buck, Pay, Taekwon, Zaire, EJ, Kenny Moore, Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, Nick Cross, and Julian Blackman. So obviously, I think the defense and the offense is going to look a little bit different than what it did from last year. So let's start off on the defensive side, and let's go ahead and get this out the way. The unquestioned starters, like people that walk into the season, do not have to prove themselves, establish themselves as like day one, like, hey, this is your job. You're the guy. Don't worry about it. Grove and Buck clearly are the best two guys on the defensive line. Our defensive line is pretty bad when they're not there. So they walk in as the starters. Zaire Franklin, even though I have my issues with him, he has produced every year he's been a starter. He was an all-pro last year. So obviously he comes in as a starting linebacker. Kenny Moore's obvious. The two free agents, Cameron and Travarius Ward, going to be starting in the secondary. And Nick Cross, I feel like he established himself as the starting strong safety. Now, when it comes to the spots that are in question, I think as of now, based on what we did in the draft and in free agency, this probably should have been an unquestioned starter, but the off-ball linebacker is going to be Jalen Carlisle. Now, he didn't really play that much last year, and that's the only reason why, for me, it's not a, hands down, you're walking in day one starter, but I do think that he will be the starter for next year. Cornerback 2, this was kind of a tough one, but just based on pure production and availability, it has to be Jalen Jones. Jalen Jones was cornerback 1 all last year. He produced. He did his job. He did better than his draft stock, than his draft position. Like, he was an average cornerback. And, to find that in the 6th or 7th round, I think he walks in as the day one starter. Now, defensive ends, I think this is the year that we start Latu. I think in Lou Anarumo's defense, he's going to want an explosive pass rusher. Now, say what you want, Latu is not bad against the run. He's actually pretty decent. So I would rather have him just for the he raises the floor of the defense, and the ceiling for him is way higher than anybody else. And I think they leave Kwity Paye out there on the other side for defensive end. So for our defense, I have Grove, Buck, Zaire Franklin, Jalen Carlisle, Jalen Jones, Latu, Paye, Kenny Moore, Cross, Cameron, and Ward. For the offense, the unquestioned day one, they're walking in starters. Bernard, Q, Braden Smith, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, and Anthony Richardson. I don't care. I do not care. Anthony Richardson is the unquestioned starter. I don't care what Chris Ballard says. I don't care what Shane Steichen says. All this competition talk. I don't care what the fans say. Anthony Richardson will walk in the unquestioned starter, and he will prove it. I believe it in my bones, and I know it. Daniel Jones is not good. He has no potential. He has no upside. There is zero chance absolutely zero chance Daniel Jones walks into this building and beats out Anthony Richardson. If I am wrong, as you guys know before, I will stand by my take and I will say I'm wrong. But until I'm wrong, I'm not wrong. So Anthony Richardson is also a unquestioned starter. Now, when it comes to there's only 2 spots that are kind of debatable and up in the air. I think there's been too much talk about who's going to replace R. Kelly as the center. I think it's clearly Tanner Bornolini. He started a lot of games as a rookie, got a lot of experience, and played well. Like, I don't feel like our offensive line play dipped when he was in the game. So I think that he will be the day one starter at center and right guard, with Will Fries being taken away by the Vikings. This might be the hottest take that I have for when it comes to starting the day one starters. I think Jalen Travis, I think they could put him at right guard. Like, I know he's 6'8". I know he's 320 plus or whatever. He's a big man. But I looked at the Eagles' offensive line, and I believe it's either their left guard or their right guard has the same body type. Like, I just don't see why not having a big, massive man at right guard is a negative. Especially, like, I read a few draft grades or recaps on him, and they said, like, he's kind of, his kickback speed when it comes to pass protection is a little bit slower. And that's a problem if you're going to be playing tackle. So why not just bump him inside? You have a big, beefy man right there. Like, I'm gonna stand by that. I'm gonna stand by that, and I think he's gonna play guard. I think that could be a great idea, especially with Tony Sparano doing the coaching. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. So that's my take. That's my hot take for offense. So unquestioned starters on the offense: Barney, Q, Braden Smith, Pitt, Alec Downs, JT Warren, Jalen Travis, Tanner Bortolini, and Anthony Richardson. And when I did the starting defense, I did it as if our base defense is going to be nickel. So that is why Kenny Moore is listed as a starter, and I have 2 other corners out there also. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, who do you guys have as the starters for the upcoming season? Did I miss somebody? Did I overrate somebody? Who did I miss? Who would you guys have as a starter? So before we go, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to give my all-time defense. The only reason I did this is because there was a lot of conversation about Lawrence Taylor and not wanting one of the draft, Abdul Carter, to unretire number 56, because Lawrence Taylor wore number 56. And it just got me thinking, like, all right, if I had to construct the greatest defense of all time to, like, you know, defend the planet, like, hey, if your defense gets scored on, then the planet is obliterated. Who would you call? Who are the 11 guys that you're calling to defend the planet? So on the defensive line, for my defensive ends, I have Von Miller and Julius Peppers. I'm of a certain age. I remember these 2 guys. These guys are some of the most athletic defensive ends of all time, and they go for the ball, and when they get the ball, they scoop and score. And we also have a Super Bowl MVP out there. For my defensive tackles, Aaron Donald and Reggie White. Now, just that front 4, what do you do? Who do you double team? You can't double team them all. And they all are going to win their one-on-ones. I trust all these guys to win their one-on-ones against anybody. Linebacker, Lawrence Taylor, obviously. Ray Lewis in the middle. Derek Brooks as my off-ball linebacker. Like, Derek Brooks, if people might not remember, but him in Tampa, he was just a playmaker, like, in coverage, intercepting the ball, taking it back. Like, I feel like with this defense already, it's going to put up points. Like, this defense could probably be, scored 17 points a game. Well, not 17 because I can't kick field goals, but like 14 points a game, easy. For my cornerbacks, Deion Sanders, obviously, and Champ Bailey, obviously. I feel like this was no-brainer. 2 of the best cover corners of all time. You're not passing. You're not getting any catches. No one is catching the ball on you. And for my safeties, I have Ed Reed, who in my opinion is a top 5 player ever. And this might be a reach, and this might be, my Miami-based bias, But I'm putting Sean Taylor at strong safety. Sean Taylor. Dude could cover, dude could hit, dude can make plays, explosive. Yeah, like I said, it might be my Miami Hurricanes bias, but I'm going to stand by it. So, all-time defense. Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Reggie White, Julius Peppers, Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, Derek Brooks, Deion Sanders, Champ Bailey, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor. Speaking of linebackers, like Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis in their primes, imagine them hanging out in the offseason. Like, I'd like to have a camera on those two guys just to see what happens. But yeah, that's my all-time starting defense. Let me know, like, if you had to beat that defense, who is your all-time starting offense? Like, who would you put up against that to score on that team? So that's what I got for today. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Drop a like, hit the comment button. Make sure you subscribe. We are here every Monday, 7 in the morning. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.